Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chloe here with That Dumb Movie Show, and today I wanted to look at a film that has got a little bit of early Oscar buzz, and that is Kathryn Bigelow's Detroit, which is interesting because, with her career as a filmmaker, she started off doing very much genre pieces with Point Break and Near Dark, and I feel like she's very firmly moved into an almost documentarian approach to history, or at least like recent history. Between The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30 and now Detroit, all those films do have this kind of pseudo-documentary feel to them, which I know isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I love it. I really love how she approaches film, and I think Kathryn Bigelow has absolute mastery over the camera. Like, the way she just controls your gaze, it does feel like you're viewing through the human eye. And I think with Detroit there is this added level to it because the film is based around the riots in the city in 1967, but it hones in on one particular incident called the Algiers Motel incident, where cops raided a building thinking there was a sniper present, but then they brutalized the occupants and left 3 black men dead. And obviously that has a lot of echoes with modern police brutality. There is a title card which states that because there isn't absolute concrete evidence as to what happened in the Algiers Motel incident, they had to imagine a little bit what happened, through interpreting the testimonies of those present. But watching the film, you feel like you're there. You feel like you're watching this through, I don't know, a witness to the crime filming it on their smartphone. And I don't know, I just think that's a really interesting way to approach that story, to view history through the same lens as we see the world now. And I don't know how in the future we're going to look back on incidents of police brutality in, for example, Ferguson versus how we look back at the Algiers Motel incident now. It's two very different ways of processing history. So yeah, I think in terms of its technical and storytelling aspects, Detroit is a formidable film, but I think when you start looking at it in the context of it being a piece of political history, you do run into quite a few problems. And obviously I'm not going to be the best person to judge this, and I've seen a wide range of reaction from black critics and audience members. Some of them have been extremely negative, others have been more mixed, but I think there are a lot of conversations to be had once this film is out. I would recommend just going on rogerebert.com and reading the review by Angelica J. Bastian. I just think it was beautifully written, and also said some really insightful stuff about the film. I guess just for this video I can point out a couple of things that I found a little weird or a little off about the movie. First out, I find it strange that this film is called Detroit, and yet it narrows in on a specific event that isn't entirely representative of the city or of what was going on at the time, because basically we do have another civil rights narrative where black women have been sidelined. It happens a lot, and obviously there weren't any black women present at the Algiers Motel incident, but the film doesn't really do anything to focus in on any of the victims' family members or their wives or girlfriends. It doesn't show any interest in black women whatsoever. But at the same time, I did feel like this film focuses in a lot on the pain of the 2 white women present, which obviously they were there, so they had to be represented, but I did get the vibe that the film invested a lot in their peril without really acknowledging that obviously they weren't under the same threat as the black men who were present. I do think that Kathryn Bigelow and the screenwriter Mark Ball were just trying to tell the story straight from their perspective on it, at least, but I think the second you call it something as momentous as Detroit, it becomes fair to start asking those kinds of questions. And for example, there's another moment where a white cop swoops in so heroically and so suddenly that it does feel a little weird, and it does feel a little like they slipped in a not all cops are bad moment, which for this film is not necessary. So yeah, I'm aware that everyone's going to have very different perspectives on this story, but I think it is important that we give the space for these kinds of conversations to happen, because, it's inevitable when you are dealing with a topic that is so raw and so painful and so intimate to so many people, you know? And yeah, I would definitely not hold Detroit up as some kind of game-changing piece of political filmmaking or political history, but I did find that in the telling of one specific incident and one specific story, I did think it was an incredible film. But if you've had a chance to see Detroit, I would love to know what you guys thought. You can let me know down in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. Details down in that description box. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can hang out and talk about movies. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!